of the NBL Draft Round 2. About to start here very shortly. 10 minutes until that draft round starts. The Superman will have the first pick. In that round. And pick 41 is up next. Who knows what's going to be happening today, and who is going to be picked. There's very little 90 overall there's 89 overall players left. Still some sub high 80s players still left in here, and there's some low 80s as well. This is round 2 as we are live. With the Superman having the first pick in the second round. And for all players to get all the ones down the line. Each round is about 5 minutes, as well as the previous round. And we are doing round 2 right now. It's possible we're going to do round 3 tonight as well. But that would be a separate video. This is not live. There's still plenty of players left that might be really good for teams, but who knows what's going to happen. None of the players have been put on teams yet. They're being drafted today though, so we'll see who will be, I guess, drafted today. Supermen are now in the clock. see how who Mr. Min will pick. There's still plenty of good players out there. It just comes down to who do they pick. Because honestly, there could be any one of these players that could get. They got about 4 minutes to decide who it is they want to go for. And they're going to go with Sherry Mills as their pick. So Sherry Mills is the pick they will go to in this round. All right.
Did you take your pills?
Yes.
Did you remember the glutathione in this room?
Yes.
Excellent.
I will apologize. That will get cut out. The Legends are now on the clock. And round 2, they picked Dory Karen. Is she? Well, that is surprising. Maybe someone thought of differently because she made it to the second pick of round 2. It's surprising that she went this way. That's a 97 overall player. The Lightning are now on the clock. Surprised he or she didn't go in. Let's see. Surprised she didn't go in the first round. 97 overall. Better defense. Great offense. Incredible that she didn't go in the first. He didn't go in the first round. She didn't go in the first round. But you never know what's going to happen in the draft, I guess, because that's incredible. Lightning select Hazel English, 89 overall. And the Ethan are now on the clock. Interesting start going for this one to get a 97 overall number pick 2, but there's plenty of other players out there. And Christy Taylor. Krista Taylor was selected by the Ethan. Foxes are now on the clock. Interesting player. She's definitely a fast player. High defensive yield, not so much in an offensive position. So she's not going to be the offense, but the Athens struggled in their defense last year. So it's absolutely a great pick for them. And Foxes have made their selection. They go with Sarah Duffy. And the Lynx are now on the clock. I mean, just to take a look at that, Sarah Duffy is a very high speed, fast offensive player, great at stealing, but honestly not a defensive player when it comes to doing it. Very offensive, not really in a position where Sarah Duffy is she's sort of an average recovery, very decent in shooting, not great, but it's fast when it goes to her actual speed. So honestly, Foxes made a great selection off of that. And the Lynx select Tracy Colhin. Cardinals are now on the clock. Appreciate the things going up a lot faster because That means we might be able to get through round 2 tonight. We will be recording it in a separate video, but anyways, back to Tracy. Tracy's a really fast player, great. It's more of an average player when it comes to it. Doesn't have a good recovery, so it's not going to be a correction. I'll get the wrong one. Has pretty good recovery. Not so much in defensive position, so kind of an average player. I think that's a great pick for them to go for. Who knows the Cardinals are going to select? And the Cardinals selected one of the Trito Stanley. Packers are now on the clock. And they went with Indoor Ripley, who is a 93 overall. Another player that slipped past round 1. And the Pirates are now on the clock. If you look at Ripley, high defensive player, great shot for a defensive position. She is great in shooting too, so I don't know how she didn't get picked in round 1. Her offense is not as great, but she was one of the best shooters in the draft you could have had. That's a and the Pirates select Brandon. '90 overall player. More of a kind of an average player, so more basing on both sides. But Morris Brandon goes into it as well. And that means the Saints are now on the clock. There's 500 players that were available at the start of this draft. I believe next year that number will be cut down to 400 due to the fact that will be the last season for the NBL. And Morgat Bargo is the selection by the Saints. She is 239. Did not mean to open that. All the way down here, Saints, 88 overall player. Fairly decent player, not a pretty fast player. Also great at stealing, honestly more of an offensive player overall, but has some decent defensive positions, and I think that's a great option. The Dolphins are on the clock. I believe this one is available with a link. I'll put a link to this file on the video when I put these up. But they'll be about 10 days from now, I think. Is Tom Frey. That is 400. No, that's 200. So 241. Selected by the Dolphins, an offensive player, very offensive positions. Not really a again, also has some potential possibilities in defense as well, but definitely a shooting player of overall. Great selection by the Dolphins. The Kings are on the clock. Kings have selected Ern Diggory, or Daughtery. Pretty average overall player. Has some decent defense. Not such a great, not really a good shooter, but excellent player for them to play at this point in time. Copied the wrong thing there. And the Ravens are now on the clock. Chose a nice role over probably defensive player in the first round. Who are they going to go in the second round? Oh. Yet another player that's a 90 overall that made it to the second round. Matty Wisher. Just got selected. Incredible 90. That's a 92 overall. It's a player number. Can't read that. 3 49. Matty Wisher. Absolutely an excellent player. Very offensive based. And the Angels are now on the clock. That was how bad it didn't hit the clock when they selected, so. And they're going to go with Cello King? I can't pronounce that one. I don't know what to say about that for a player. Or that is an absolutely crazy selection. If she hadn't already been selected. Yeah, they try to select a player had already been selected. You can't do that. Angels are still on the clock. And running low on time. She was selected. That person was selected in the first round. Pick 8, actually. The player actually right above her is what they selected. I guess if they attempted to select a player who had already been selected, right above her, that is the player they select now. Vicky Rolau. And the Indians are now on the clock. And the Indians have selected Kalen Sonia, another player who slipped to round 2. Incredible. 93 overall player, slipped to round 2. Not the best blocking, but honestly, I'm not sure they need that. The Colts are now on the clock. Colts have selected Ellen McKee. $395, one of the lower players in the end. Fairly good player, an 89 overall player. Pretty good overall in all around basis. That's a pretty average, that's a pretty good player. Maybe not the best player, probably not going to, definitely not going around 1. Could have gone to push to round 3. Very good player. The Bears are now on the clock. Bears have selected Jorin. I'm not going to try to pronounce that last name. Fairly good defense, very good at shooting. Not really not a defensive player, that's for sure. Definitely an offensive player. But honestly, not a bad selection for a second round pick. The Bulldogs are now on the clock. Okay. We had a little discussion. We're not going to do round. We're going to do round. We're going to do round 2 tonight. Round 3 and 4 will be done sometime later this week. I'm gonna guess probably either 10th or 11th. Just so we have and all of them will be done. All of them will be up by on 15th. The Bulls selected Kara Farrell. What on earth is that? Why would they selected her? I mean, I would say she's a decent player overall. She's not the one I'm thinking says, hey, select me. It's a 94 overall player. Anyways, the Techs are now on the clock. I don't know how to pronounce that person's name. Apparently, I also don't want to copy and paste. Ferranto Kerr. It's player 404. I mean, he's a pretty average player. He has a slightly better in the defensive position. And I don't know why they selected him. Also, want to point out, right above them, the 92 overall player still hasn't gone, and two below is an 88. So, and there's a 96 not far below that. So, there's so many players out there that people are missing. That these players are missing. These teams are missing. The Lions are on the clock. They can't hear what I'm saying, but I mean that's seriously. There's still players out here that are 90 overall players that didn't go in round one. There's a nice 6 right here. Branga Davenport. 88. We got Raymond here, or Neil Gilang. There's an 89. Right above Jim Cab. '91 right here. So, I mean, there's a lot of players out there. It makes you question kind of what some of these teams are going through, thinking they're here, because some of these players. Now, I do want to point out that some of these players might have had a bad attitude during the draft clean, and then when the team leaders came and said, these players have bad attitudes, we don't want them, which is possible. Which is why maybe they aren't going it. Maybe they told their teams. I certainly didn't get finding them as I own the Panthers, so the NBL Panthers. And there we go. The Lions have selected Patelia Shannon, I believe, is the correct term for this in the 60th pick. We have 20 picks left to go in round 2. We're not going to go round. We're going to do round 3 and 4 on the same video, I believe. And the Chargers are now on the clock. Really need to learn how to use copy and paste. Jerry Marks was just selected by the Chargers. And the Giants are now on the clock. I believe this is their second pick in the first in this round. If I'm correct, they had a pick earlier in this round. Might be wrong on that, though. No, they didn't. I mean, there's still several really good players out there. I wouldn't be surprised if there's another 90 overall player that we haven't even seen yet. And it's Beth Cornell. They have selected. Interesting player. Beth Cornell, pretty average player overall. I mean, there's just not much thing. She's a fast player. That's basically all there is to say about her. Had a high stealing position. She's not bad when it goes to defensive positions, but UNC is now on the clock. That's United National Cats. Or the Carolina Cats. United National Carolina Cats, I believe is the full terminology for that thing, but what? Who knows UNC goes for? I mean, it's a really long name. It's Union National Cats. You know, United National Cats, I believe, is the full terminology, but they go for abbreviation of Carolina Cats, basically. Lena Howards, I believe, is what they go with. That is. Don't know where to go with that one. Interesting. The Eagles are on the clock. That's still a cute logo. Okay, I don't know what you want to do with that. sorry. They have just, the Beagles must think to have something to do because they just went with the lowest overall player in NBA in ever anywhere. There's plenty of different sayings for this, but I think there's no one else on the list anywhere that has a rating that low. There's some stats that are that low, but I okay, well it's not quite that. Their rating should go up a little bit higher, but I gotta look at the blocking score real quickly here because I think her rating is higher than that. I'm gonna want to stop the clock momentarily, restart it, because something does not look right with that blocking score. The blocking score is 0 to 20. So that was right. Can I get a clarification on that? Okay, so I just got a clarification on that one. Wow. So, was it rain that day? They went with Rillo, who actually has a really good shooting score and a fairly good defense scores, just did not have anything to do, could not do anything with the blocking. So, her score is literally the lowest it could possibly, almost the possible, as low as it possibly can be. There's a 1.15 here, and that one person pretty low too. So, anyways, Huskies are now on the clock. Or the actual West Carolina Huskies. West North Carolina Huskies, I think something like. But honestly, I don't even know how you got there low. If you really want to go with that, to get that low of a score, you have to literally miss. You have to literally miss all the blocking, get run over or something. So she's not. Is she big? Is she big? Is Rolla? Is it? Oh, he. She's not. He must not be very big because he must just got run over in that regard to get that low of a score. But again, that could be beneficial. Who knows? And Shawana Barnard, I believe, is the correct pronunciation of that one. Very interesting player. Player 485. I mean, put it this way, it's the Hawks are now on the clock. I mean, that's tough. I mean, she just did. She was not. He's not an offensive player. If you want a defensive player, he's actually really fast. But in defensive position, that's a great player to go for. As long as you don't expect him to key him or do anything of offense. But again, it's very probably just had a bad day on that end because these scores are the day of. And it's very possible that these people just had really bad days. And so the players that are drafted, that's why there are other films that look at. We obviously can't get the things for that, but there's plenty of players out there that get drafted here could easily be one of those best players. You could also have a player that you draft that is, the lowest overall player and be absolutely insane. Then you also have players that are highest overall player, and they end up being pretty bad. Which is why I think a lot of these higher players go first. $469. Ginger. Gets selected. Pretty average overall player for a defensive and offensive position. I think honestly, this person can go anywhere on it. Not really a shooter, but again, he's very fast. And I don't think the fast is about the only thing that could be really relevant, because if you're not fast, that can go in your days. And all these are done on the same day to all the players. They go, you have recovery, go recovery, shooting, speed, in order. It's not necessarily in that order, but it's all 5 of them. There you player. And the Bobcats are now on the clock. And it's Ranga Davenport. 96 overall, probably gotta be the last player who got selected in this mid-second round. I couldn't even begin to guess why she was taken. It took so long to get her selected. Could very much be the person that no one wanted to draft her because she has bad attitude or just doesn't fucking manage or something. You never know. The Jets are now on the clock? Question mark? Pause the clock. Oh, right. No. I missed. I skipped 2 players. So that's correct. The Jets are currently on the clock. It's Nella Lang that they're going ahead and selecting. Nella Lang. Ours are now on the clock. go back to Nell Link. 406. I mean, to take a look, I mean, she's pretty average. I mean, it's pretty. I'm surprised. You know, honestly, I could see him going round 1 as well, or even in round 3. It's a pretty average overall player. Hasn't had anything specific. He's not a good recoverer. Can't recover the ball. That's going for the ball out of bounds. That's how they test that one. I believe they do it. What do they do is like 20 situations. Yeah, so it's 20 situations where they will throw the ball in a certain direction, going out of bounds, and your object is to keep it inbounds. That's how they would do the recovery score. Shooting is pretty obvious. Speed is, I believe, how long you could do the court, go around the court. And I think we can recover several balls. That confirming this, yes. Stealing is like trying to steal from a player. Blocking is defending a person from making a shot. Fairly. That's pretty simple. Ethel Gibson. Guess who they selected? That is very close to the end here. Fairly good offensive player. Not exactly the best in defensive, which is probably why he got selected later. But he's an excellent shooter. Could have easily been selected in the first round if it wasn't so much the context that his defense is not up to par. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Tigers are going to be next off the clock. There's only 11 picks left for this round before the round 2 is over. Falcons have selected I'm not gonna try to pronounce that name. With the 70th pick, Crane? Maurice Crane? Pretty average player, not a bad score overall. The Tigers are now on the clock. I have no idea how you pronounce that first name. Maurice. That is not how it's spelled. I was just informed it is Maurice. Oh, she goes by Rice, so okay. But I'm not the person in charge of the naming these things, so. That is up to her parents. Not my. I don't have any children. Dale Ball has been selected. Dale Ball. And the Browns are now on the clock. I couldn't go. I mean, honestly, half these names I don't even want to try to pronounce. Some of these names are easier to pronounce than that. Aggie Benson. Did I pronounce that one right? Okay. Aggie Benson. Dragons are now on the clock. Dazelle Glory. Dazelle Glory, who was the first person to get selected. But Dazelle Glory, pretty average overall, to be honest. But excellent shooting. Could have easily seen her go in the first round. She's more of an average player, though, so that's why she didn't go in the first round. Pretty good for it. Werewolves are now on the clock. All the way down here. Stafford. Again, I hope I'm pronouncing the names correctly. Number 47. Interesting. And it is the Stars who are on the clock, and the Stars will be on the clock 2 times in a row because they have the next 2 picks. Technically, you can just reset the clock, and they're going to be the Stars are going to be on the clock twice. They made a trade with Panthers, so they have the 75th and 76th pick. Don't know what on earth the Panthers are thinking. Panthers have an auto second pick. Right, because the Stars traded for extra picks, I believe, so, and additional compensation. They traded a player to them, I believe, at some point. So, I don't know. But they got 2 picks to go for here. Stars have 2 picks. Who knows what they're going to go for? I got a lot to look at, so. Stars made their first selection. Rebecca Leonard. And the Stars are now on the clock since they got their second pick. And the Stars are now off the clock. So the Stars easily select their second player without much of a problem. They went with Browning. Iv Browning. And that, they must have already had their picks already put into place. The Dogs are now on the clock. Dogs, by the way, picked the lowest rated player, one of the lowest rated players you can get in the first round. Take a look at that. Dogs picked a 45 overall player in the first round. Okay, not. Yeah, so they picked the lowest overall players you can even get in the first round. I don't know what they saw. Oh, she was very good at recovery, I'll say that much. But I don't know. It would be the Warriors, then the Wheeling Cats, then the Knights left in round 2, and that would be the end of the draft round 2. We have a more decent player, I'd say, a better decent player. Florence North. That's who they went with in this round here. Warriors are now on the clock. I keep opening that. There's nothing. The Warriors have gone with Kenny Sherman. Wheeling Cats are now on the clock. And if you're wondering why some of these teams go a lot faster, some of them have already particularly told me because they couldn't be here. So that's the reason why you'll see some of these go a lot faster than others. The last two players, however, last two teams have not told me that. So the Wheeling Cats, and honestly, I'm not surprised. There's plenty of players out there that can hit. And then the Knights will be up after this. Now it'll be the end of round 2. I want to know something. How does Shuri David have a... I'm sorry. That's a maximum of 10. Didn't change anything because I think it just lowered down the offensive rating because 19. No, because the 10 is the highest you can score on that. Not that it changed anything on the rating. All I was put in here. I think it was messed. It didn't change the rating. Yeah, I think that someone just probably put the number in wrong. Yeah, someone just probably put the number in wrong. I mean, a 9 and 0 are right next to each other, so on the keyboard. And the Atlanta Cats go with Carl Huffman. And the Knights are on the clock, and they're the last round, so I'm just gonna reset it. They have 5 minutes, fortunately, so that doesn't mean they have to do it, but not that makes much of a difference. Because the Knights won't. This is the last pick of the Knights. I guess if the Knights don't pick, then the other team, they will have to pick after who the first team is tomorrow, which will be the Superman. So what I would probably go for if I were the Knights, since they won the Ball Bowl, they had a great defensive standing. Is I'd say they go for an offensive player. That's the one thing they struggled with. This is the only team I think, honestly, I can't really say much about anything else because all of their teams against, they're gonna take their time. That's true. They're gonna wait probably until like 1 second because there's a they don't technically have an unlimited amount of time, but they might as well. Sometimes teams want to like, we want to make a trade offer. You can't make a trade offer during the draft. And the draft they were warned that this was going to take at least 2 or 3 weeks before that it occurred. So they can't make a trade. You can't make a trade. Oh wait, the Knights are on the clock right now. Oh, not what to do. I don't know where their symbol is. There it is. You're probably gonna have to look for high players because it makes sense. The Knights have selected Dan Fowler. And that is the end of the NBL draft for round 2. Round 3 and 4 will be played probably on either the, look at the clock here. It's probably going to end up being either on this 10th or 11th. Probably 11th. Anyways, that's the end of this video for draft round 2. And we'll see you guys for round. I will be back here for round 3 and 4, which will probably be done at the same time. There is, in that regard, it's 80 picks left in the draft. And based on the context that it takes, there's up to 5 minutes for each one of these. Look at the calculator real quick. This could take over 6 hours to do. They're not going to do that long. Is that right? 80 picks. Could theoretically take 6 hours, but I don't think it's going to take nearly that long. I mean, this one took an hour and 40, so it took about 20 minutes less than the previous one, I believe. That's it for this video here for this one. The draft round is one hit, and that is it. Thank you guys. In the next video for round 3, possibly round 4 if the next round does not take nearly as long.